Trying out a new horse is one of those things that can be both exciting and nerve-wracking all at once. And in this episode of the podcast, I want to give you a couple of simple tips that you can use to help you show up for the appointment a little bit more level-headed so that you can make a decision which will no doubt have a long-term impact on both your life and also the horses as well. Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Strides podcast. My name is Lorna Leeson. I'm an equestrian trainer and coach, and I work with riders all over the world, helping them to feel more confident with their horse, especially if they're working alone without a trainer and coach. And this particular episode comes from Daily Strides Premium. It is the first episode in a week of episodes on this topic. Of course, the rest are audio horse riding lessons. This is just, I suppose, a little overview to help get you going with it. Okay, enjoy, and I'll chat to you after the episode. Buying a new horse is the sort of decision that can have repercussions for years to come on you and your riding, and of course the horse itself. And this group of lessons, I want to start chatting about, well, just basic things that you can look for and that you can do to help make it a good one. You ready? Hi there, it's Lorna here and welcome to Daily Strides Premium. I'm delighted to have you here with me on this week of lessons, and it's going to be a little bit of a different week. How I want to approach this week is, first of all, this first episode is just going to be a couple of very basic reminders that I feel is important, and that if you could just keep in mind as you are going through the process of buying a new horse, they'd really help you. And then the rest of the week is going to be what I would suggest doing when you go to actually ride the horse. Okay, so very often we've so much on our minds when we go to ride the horse that we tend to, it wouldn't be the greatest ride we'd ever give a horse, eh? And I feel that maybe if you had a set plan to stick to ride the horse. Now, obviously, I do not expect you to listen to this as you're riding your new horse, but if you listen to it before you went to ride your new horse, it would give you an idea of what to do. And also then, if let's say you do have a horse, I find that what we're going to go through in this week of episodes is also going to be really beneficial for assessing where your current horse is, or where the horse is, and maybe what you need to do in order to maybe move things forward, or where there maybe are a couple of holes or a couple of gaps in the horse's education or in your education that you could also work on. So that all being said and done, let's just take this back to what I said initially, a couple of kind of things to remember before going to check for the horse. Now, one of the most important things I feel that you have to do, and by the way, this is your responsibility, I really think that you can't really pass the buck on this one, hey? So this is you, all down to you, would be to have a very clear idea for what you want to achieve in the coming few years. And the reason I say this is because so many times we go and we look at horses, and when I was younger, I was guilty of this. Now, luckily, I had parents who, well, they reined it in a little, okay? But I would go look at the horse and I would just fall in love with the horse. And meanwhile, the horse actually wasn't suitable for what I wanted to achieve long term with my riding. And I think that it's really important to have goals in mind. Now, two reasons. First of all, sometimes we can go look at a horse, and if we actually purchase that horse, we'd be doing the horse a great disservice, because the horse is maybe looking to do more. And I believe that there are certain horses, they maybe have certain potentials. Now, will all horses reach their potential? No, all humans won't either. In fact, most won't. And I find that we have to keep that in mind. But if, let's say, you go and visit a world beater, and yet all you want to do is hack around country lanes, not very fair on the horse, okay? Now, same applies opposite way around. If you want a world beater and you go and you see the horse who's really suitable for hacking around country lanes, he mightn't want to be a world beater. And I just think it's really important that you do have all your goals and aspirations in mind. And just on that, kind of using that word there, the world beater, I find sometimes that we're looking for a world beater. We go looking for the best horse in the world when we actually don't need the best horse in the world. We need the best horse for us. Okay, so just keep all that in mind. Just get really clear on what you're looking to achieve with your riding. And then kind of, I feel that it's important to communicate that to the seller, because if the seller is an honest and reliable person, and here's hoping it is for the horse's sake and for your sake, they're going to be able to tell you, listen, actually this isn't the horse for you, but I'll keep an eye out, or I actually know of another horse that might be suited for you, or whatever the case is. Okay, I feel that that's really important as well. So communication, very important. Now, goes without saying, do not be the first person to get on the horse. Okay, it surprises me how many times, and again, I think this comes down to being keen. Okay, so how many times people would just want to be the first person on the horse. No, you have to try rein it in. Okay, so don't be the first person on the horse. What I always suggest doing is letting the owner, the trainer, the groom, whoever's with the horse now, getting them onto the horse first and watching them. And I would actually let them completely do everything with the horse, and then I would jump on, and only if I was happy with what was going on. And remember, at any point in the whole kind of, I say the conversation, but I'm talking about the conversation in a greater capacity. I'm talking about the whole, you going to see the horse, you going to try the horse, you at any point in that whole kind of, and I feel there's a process that has to happen. If you're unhappy, just say it, and just say, listen, actually not the horse for me. You don't have to even give a reason. That's your prerogative. But I think it's important to do that. You know, the seller would prefer to, can we say, save the horse for somebody who actually is interested in the horse, okay, or is feeling like this horse could be a match for them, and also from a safety point of view for yourself as well. Just really important to get that across. So have someone else ride the horse, and only if you're happy, you yourself ride the horse. I'm also going to suggest at this point that you take your saddle with. If you can't take your saddle, some people are fussy, they won't let you ride in your saddle, which is fair enough. Maybe they're selling the horse and they don't want the horse's back, or that being maybe unnecessarily strained or stressed, or whatever the case is. Bring your stirrup irons and your stirrup leathers with. There's nothing as bad as going to ride a horse and the leathers are either too long or too short, okay? So bring your own irons and leathers with. I feel that's important. And then that I would also strongly suggest that you get to groom and tack up the horse. Now, you know, sometimes you'll go and the horse will be already tacked up and ready to go. And most people, again, being genuine people, this is just for the sake of saving time, okay? But what I would do is ask in advance, please don't have the horse tacked up. I want to either I want to like watch what's going on, or I want to do it myself, because that gives you a good feel for what the horse is like in the stable, what the horse is like on the ground. And I find this is even more important if you are going to keep the horse at your own property. So you're going to keep the horse at home. If the horse is going to a livery yard or it's going to board somewhere, you probably will have professionals dealing with the horse then. So, you know, you can maybe overlook a little bit more. But if you're taking the horse home to live at your house or your property, and you're going to be the person dealing with the horse, I find it's really important that you can handle the horse, you can catch the horse, you can groom the horse. Silly things like, it's not silly, but it seems a little irrelevant. It's not. Things like walking into the stable and looking at the horse's response to you walking into the stable. Does the horse move to the back of the stable and pin its ears? Does it move to the back of the stable and turn its bum to you? Or does he turn around and look at you looking fairly interested? Now, obviously not every horse is going to walk up and say hello, just like not every person's going to walk up and say hello. And I don't feel that that's a good judge of a horse, but I do think that just noticing the overall general behaviour. The other thing to keep in perspective here is maybe the horse is ticklish, you know, things like that. I find that, and I say this time and again, and people laugh, but it's so true, okay? I find that horses start changing almost immediately when they're dealing with new people, okay? As I've said many occasions, if you've been with me for any length of time, you'll know this. We've had horses who have been through maybe different owners, but they've stayed on our property, and you know, they've been outgrown, ponies in particular, outgrown, get a new owner, or they're just not suitable, child moves on, pony stays with us, new owner. And the same with horses, and it's amazing how they change. It is just, it's It's crazy, okay? So really important as well that some things you have to keep in mind, that the horse will change and it will begin to align, or if you want to reflect, mirror you more so than the person that they're with now. But some of the things that you're picking up on and you're going to see with the horse can just be things that the horse is doing because of the person they're with right now, okay? So all that being said and done, the final thing I want to say is don't go looking at a horse or viewing a horse where you are going to, like, you're expecting to get a full lesson off your trainer or whoever it is you're going to ride with. That's unfair, okay? So just get in and get out. You're looking for, probably, if you could watch the horse, and obviously what you want the horse to do and where the horse is in the horse's training is going to dictate how long the horse is ridden and stuff like that. But you don't want to hammer on things. That's not what you're there for. This is not a training session. This is you trying out the horse. The other thing is, be really honest about your level. But what I often find is a good way of approaching things is ask about the level of the rider on the horse first. If you go to the seller and tell the seller where you are, what you're looking for, they can sometimes almost, maybe, and I would say this is unintentionally, but they can talk the horse to suit that, okay? Whereas if you first go and say, listen, who rides the horse at the moment? What are they doing? How did they get on? What level are they at? Ba-di-ba-di-ba. How does the horse go? What issues does the horse have? Does the horse hack out alone, in company? Does, all this different stuff. Find out all that first and then offer what you are or where you are and what you want to do with it. And then from there, kind of allow the person to then come back and tell you how they feel the horse would suit that particular situation. I find all that important. Final thing is, I said have them ride the horse for you. I always like to also bring a person that I know how that person can ride, and I know how that person rides with other horses, and I ask them to get onto the horse for me as well, that I can see somebody who I know how they ride and how horses respond to them. I like to watch on the ground and see how that horse responds to that person as well, okay? And then finally, you get on yourself. And I know this seems a bit long-winded, but big decision, massive repercussions. And remember, it's also really difficult to sell a horse that doesn't suit you. I can tell you now, and even if it's the best horse in the world, horses tend to pick up names, or they almost get this stigma attached to them when the horse doesn't suit the rider. And it's like that Black Beauty story. It goes downhill, doesn't it? So just really important that you take the time, you make the good decision, and from there that you and your horse are really, really, really happy together. The final thing I just want to add here is sometimes when you've been riding your horse, so let's say you have a horse right now and you've had your horse for years and years and years, and you and your horse are this like team, and now you're going to try out a new horse, it can be sometimes a little bit daunting. And now you've suddenly on this brand new horse, when you've been used to riding your own horse or one horse for years and years and years on end, okay? That can affect how you ride. And I really think that you're already under, can we say, enough pressure, okay? Which you really shouldn't be, but let's face it, we are. We all want it to work out. We want to find the right horse. We want to make the right decision. So it is a little bit of pressure. You're already under pressure going to ride this horse. What I'm going to suggest doing, if you have only ridden one horse for a long period of time, okay, and you feel really comfy on the one horse and the thoughts of riding another horse, never mind riding another horse that you've never met before, you don't know from Adam, and that you're going to have to make this big decision on, that can be a little daunting. I'm going to suggest booking in some lessons on a school horse or on another horse before you go start trying horses. Just so as you can start to ride a few different horses, okay? Sometimes we get so used to our one horse, and then the only other horse we've ever ridden then is the one horse that we go to see, and of course it's going to feel different because it's a different horse, and we judge the horse on that. But meanwhile, it's just because the horse is different and it's not our horse, okay? So book in for a few lessons, or ride a friend's horse if you can't book in for lessons. I'm going to suggest booking in for lessons, so ride a friend's horse. Try and get on a couple of different horses in maybe the weeks leading up to the point where you're actually going to go view horses. Just feel that that's really important as well. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll be back with you tomorrow, and we're going to start actually working on basically a little outline that you can use when you go to try the horse, and then from there hopefully you'll be able to discover how the horse is going for you. Okay, chat with you then. Bye. So as you've just heard, there is an actual outline also available if you want to get it. It's inside of Daily Strides Premium. You can pop over to stridesforsuccess.com/DSP. All of the details are there, and yeah, you can get those audio horse riding lessons that will give you the plan to follow with your horse. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Have a super day. Keep well, and I'll chat to you soon. Be good. Bye.